Hello, welcome to the UPSC Free. So our today's topic is how a bill becomes an act. Now, recently our Modi government has passed a bill that gives the women reservation about 33% in central and state legislative assemblies. Now, without wasting much time, let's enter into the topic. Now, who frames the act or who frames the law in a country? So when we discuss this topic, the important body that comes in our mind is the legislative body. So it is the legislative body which frames all these kinds of act or all these kinds of law. Now, now before starting, what is a bill? Now, bill is a proposal. Bill is a proposal that is put forward by the government in front of the legislative assembly for the discussion, for the debate, and for the voting on that particular proposal. Now, this proposal later on becomes act when it is discussed, debated, and voted upon by the legislative assembly. Now, the central legislative assembly in our country is called as parliament. And now we will be discussing in another video what are the different parts of parliament. But in this video, briefly, if we discuss, there are three parts of the parliament. Basically, your Lok Sabha, your Rajya Sabha, and the president of the country, the president of the India. So, what are bills and what are the different kinds of bills? So as we have already discussed, are nothing but the proposals. Now we have three kinds of bills that are present in our country. Now there is your ordinary bill, then you have something called as your money bill, then you have again something called as constitutional amendment bill. So in this particular video, we are going to study about the ordinary bill and how an ordinary bill is become how an ordinary bill becomes an act. So in the later videos, we will be seeing how money bills are made and how constitutional amendment bills are passed. So normally the procedure is very simple. First, the ordinary bill is introduced in Lok Sabha. It can be brought in both the houses. It can be brought in Lok Sabha. It can be brought in Rajya Sabha. Ordinary bills, that's the specialty of the ordinary bills. Ordinary bills can either be presented in the Lok Sabha or it can be presented in the Rajya Sabha. So if it is presented first in the Lok Sabha, then it will be presented second in the Rajya Sabha, and then it will be sent to the president. If you do not like that, you can also present the bill first in the Rajya Sabha, and then you can, once it is passed by the Rajya Sabha, you can present it in the Lok Sabha as well, and then it can go for the president signature. Now, this is the overall view of how a bill becomes an act. First, it will be brought in a particular in a single house, in the first house. There, the bill will be discussed, voted upon, and then it will be sent to the second house. Either it can be Lok Sabha or it can be Rajya Sabha. And once it is passed by the second house, also, then it is sent to the president of the country. Now, when we say that the bill has been sent to a particular house, suppose you might have always heard in the news that the bill has been sent to the Lok Sabha, the bill has been sent to the Rajya Sabha, or the bill is presented before the Lok Sabha. So what happens when a bill is presented before a particular house? Now, in briefly discussing, there are three stages in this particular in this particular presentation part. There is something called as your first reading, then there is your second reading, and then is your third reading. So the bill has to, when the bill is presented in a house, it has to go through these three stages: the first reading stage, then the second reading stage, and then the third reading stage. So what are these three stages? We will discuss them very briefly. We will not go much into the depth because then it will take then I will have to make a very long video. So what do you mean by first reading? Now the first reading is nothing but the reading of the bill. Now the bill is presented before the house. No discussion, no debates, no voting happen at this stage. So we can say that, sir, at this stage there will be no discussion, no debate, and no voting also happen at this stage. Only the bill is presented before the house. It is read before the house. What are the intention behind the bill? What is the intention of presenting this bill in front of the? What is the intention of presenting this bill? Is just presented. Nothing else is done. The main process happens in the second reading. Now, what happens in the second reading? Now, in second reading, all your discussions, debates, or referring to a special committee, referring to a special committee takes place at this point. The committee will be inquiring, will be taking each and every clause, and they will be studying each and every aspect, and then they will be reverting back to that particular house. So suppose say Lok Sabha has referred this bill to a special committee, then that committee will study about the particular bill, and then it will submit its report back to the Lok Sabha, and again it will be discussed. So the second stage or the second reading is the most important stage in this, in the process of bill passage. Now, once the second reading is done, once the discussion is done, once the debate is done, now comes the third reading. In the third reading, again the bill is read, and if any clause or if anything that has been come in the stage of second reading, if it is added, it will also be read. So if there is a certain suggestion, if the suggestion is liked by the particular person who has brought the bill, they can include that particular proposal or that particular suggestion in this bill, and this is done in the third stage, in the third reading. So once the third reading is done, at this stage again no discussion, no debates take place, only the bill is read, and then the voting happens. The voting happens at this stage, and if the bill gets yes, then the bill is said to be passed by that particular house. So if the majority of the members support and say yes, that we are okay with this bill, they vote yes, then the bill is said to be passed by that particular house, and then it goes into the second house. Then it goes into the second house. So if initially it was brought in the Lok Sabha, after third reading it will be sent to Rajya Sabha. Please remember, if the majority of member vote yes, then only it will be passed on to the next house. Then again in the second house, again these three readings will happen: first reading, second reading, and third reading. The same thing that happened in the Lok Sabha will be again repeated in the second house, in the Rajya Sabha. If it was done in the Rajya Sabha, then it will be again done in the Lok Sabha. Now, once it is done, when it is passed by both the houses, then what happens? Then it goes to the president. Now, president has namely this many options. First, either he can sign the bill. Once he signs the bill, this becomes an act. This bill becomes an act. Also, the president can send back the bill, send the bill back to the parliament. That president can do this in the case of ordinary bills. Also, what else can he do? Does he have any other option? Yes, he can withhold his consent. He can withhold his or her consent. Now, these are the three options that are available with our president. So basically, he can sign the bill will become the act, or else he can send back the bill, send the bill back to the parliament, send back to the parliament, and it will again be passed on by the parliament. Then, or else the third option that the president always have is that she or he will withhold his consent. At this stage, we will say that the bill has lapsed. If this happens, we will say that bill has lapsed. If the bill is sent back to the parliament, what are the options? The parliament will again pass, the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha will again pass, and if this time the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha pass the bill same with or without any suggestions which was given by the president has to sign this bill this time. The second time, the president cannot send the bill back. The president cannot send the bill back. So in this video, we have briefly discussed how a bill becomes an act. So in this video, we have discussed how ordinary bill becomes an act. In the coming videos, we will surely take up the issue of money bill and constitutional amendment bill. Till then, thank you for watching this video. Please do like and subscribe. Bye bye. Jai Hind.